We're back. Okay, welcome back. And we're going to have a repeat of the question, and we're gonna have Mr. Blaha start us. How do we take all the people who are living on welfare and move them back into the workforce?
Well, a couple things have been said that I think are very applicable. I've talked a lot about workfare, but workfare needs to be staged. So we need to give people skills to gradually work them back into the system. Because what we have right now is we have a group of people that are trapped. They're caught in a system they cannot get out of. A lot of it's because of the system we've created. Well, let me turn it up just a touch. Here's what we really need, folks. We need people like Derek Wilbur. We need pastors like Mark Coward back there. We need people standing up and boldly talking about let's take this country back. Let's get people out of that entrapment. Let's make this country what it can be. We've got to push, folks, our pastors and those around us. Thank God for Derek. Thank God for Mark.
Amen.
Ms. Payne Williams.
I've been poor before. I really can understand how people. I lived in poverty in China before. I know what's like to be really at the bottom of the food chain when you have to struggle every day. I do connect with people. I feel compassionate to our welfare recipients. Some of them are working. They cannot make ends meet. But also, I want to warn you, if you think a welfare only solution is just more and more government welfare, our welfare system is broke. It's not providing incentive for poor people to come out of poverty. Remember, there's a famous saying I learned in this country. You give a man a fish a day, he becomes your dependent. You teach a man to fish for life. That's true love. That's true compassion. I went to Australia, New Zealand before. They have a welfare system we should adopt. It's a team up with private businesses as a partnership in welfare programs. When you receive a welfare check, for first 6 months, you go to sign up with a private company to do job training, to do internship. Once you get hired part-time, gradually welfare start to back out from your life because you're making more money. And then you finally get hired full-time. You don't need welfare, you need a big celebration party. But our current system does not provide poor people the incentive to work. Work gives people pride. Work gives people dignity. We really need to reform current system that just broke. It's not doing anything good for our poor people in this country.
Thank you. 7 seconds, rebuttal to Mr. Clancy.
I absolutely agree with that. I love that compassion. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge problem here. All of us know people that work under the table. All of us know individuals that will continue to use the system. So we need to actually go in there and audit a lot of those programs. When we have a system that actually encourages people to not get married and to continue to have babies out of wedlock, that's a problem. We need to fix that, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot of work to do, but we need to identify the problem, be willing to fix the problem.
Thank you. Next question, Mr. Frazier. What is your opinion about a base realignment and closure? And would you support it?
Not in Colorado. When I was I represented the city of Aurora for 8 years. So I had 340,000 constituents, and we had a military installation in Aurora called Buckley Air Force Base. And the men and women out there that serve our country do yeoman's work as it relates to our national security interests. And I know we have bases here in El Paso County where they do critically important missions to our national security and are tremendously important to the strength and welfare of our military as a whole. And so while I do believe there are wasteful spending and inefficiencies that can be found in the military, I do not believe we need to have a BRAC here in Colorado. Looking abroad though, I think there is a question we need to have about some of the bases we have abroad and whether that is an appropriate use of our taxpayer dollars today, particularly in Western Europe.
Yeah.
I think that's a conversation we need to have because having served in uniform, I'm not quite sure some of those bases are still needed. And those resources could be better put to use elsewhere in our military. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Blaha.
A little history on BRAC. It's been around since 1988. We've had 5 rounds. We have closed over 350 installations. 350 installations. So the short answer is it makes sense to be very frugal with our money. It makes sense to make sure that the bases are aligned where they should be. But at the end of the day, the new thing that they're looking at in 15 and 16 is actually bringing some of the concepts of lean that I talked about earlier into the process. It's being written about, it's being talked about, and if we're going to do anything from a base realignment standpoint, we need to bring the same tools that we've used in industry to make things more efficient and more effective. We've tried it the old way. We've tried it the way that other people have said, let's keep going. And what we found is we are not as efficient as we need to be. So we need to bring those tools in. We need to carefully look. We need to be real cautious before we ever start closing any more bases, because if anything, as GDP, folks, as GDP, our investment in military has gone down